Title 42 ends next week. Take a listen.
We're just trying to do these exercises as a deterrence factor. That way people don't cross into the United States.
All right, that was a sergeant with the Texas Department of Public Safety at the bank of the Rio Grande River along the southern border with Texas. U.S. authorities right now are teaming up with Mexican law enforcement officials to prepare for all of this potentially massive surge that we anticipate seeing with migrants should Title 42 lift, just like the Biden administration plans on doing Monday. Title 42, by the way, worth reiterating, it's a public health order policy. It was put in place at the southern border, allowing for the expulsion of asylum seekers amid the chaos of the pandemic. So it was really a health policy. Some question if that's the right policy now. If not that, what? In the meantime, if it lifts, we are anticipating thousands and thousands of migrants crossing the border. Not just migrants, but the drug cartels are taking advantage of the potential of a surge and how they can continue to funnel drugs into the U.S.
The more time Border Patrol spends dealing with hundreds of thousands of people, all of which have paid the cartels. The cartels win big twice. They get all that money, and then the Border Patrol is distracted so they can get through more drugs through the border as well. Jorge Ventura, Daily Caller, who spent nights, days, months down on the border. Jorge, I'm wondering what your sources in Border Patrol, Texas Department of Public Safety are saying. I'm almost feeling like it's being with soldiers before they go to war or firefighters before the big hurricane comes in, preparing for the unknown storm.
Yeah, Leon, here in South Texas, we have local law enforcement working with the sheriffs of Texas National Guard and its state troopers, and they're all working together in preparation for the brace of the ending of Title 42. We saw some of their training today. The main thing that I'm hearing when it comes to their concerns from law enforcement is they're just asking the Biden administration to hold on to Title 42 at least for another 60 days. Give the law enforcement enough time to adjust and get ready and get those resources here in South Texas. Also, Leland, I was spending some time in Piedras Negras, and I will tell you that the Mexican officials are almost doing nothing. Today, we saw Mexican federales watch migrants cross illegally almost on the hour. We actually witnessed almost a mother and her son almost drowned today. Right here in the Rio Grande, if it wasn't for a Border Patrol agent to come save them. But the Mexican federales, from our reporting, we haven't seen them even stop any migrants. It almost seems like they're just meeting maybe for just a headline. But the migrants were crossing day and night here in Eagle Pass, and it's still continuing as we speak.
Jorge, talking about the drugs for a second and the cartels, is there anyone or anything that the cartels fear? I mean, how do you cut them off at the knees?
You know, that's a question that everyone is asking right now. And right now, when you see these human smugglers, these cartels, they're not afraid of any law enforcement. They're very brazen. Even human smugglers walk up almost to the U.S. side. But when I'm speaking with Texas State Troopers, that's the number one concern is the fentanyl. Just from Texas State Troopers alone, Operation Lone Star, they've already seized 300 million legal doses of fentanyl. The scary part is all the fentanyl that continues to make its way into the United States. Here in Texas alone, in the past 2 years, fentanyl overdoses are up 399% just in the state of Texas. So fentanyl is the number one concern, especially in young teens. We're seeing this phenomenon where these teens are taking these drugs where they think it's Oxycontin or they think it's a Vicodin, and it becomes a counterfeit fentanyl, and they end up dying, and they don't have a second chance. So that's the number one concern, is stopping that fentanyl drugs coming into this country at a rapid pace that we've never seen before in our history.
Yeah, Jorge, where does this end with Title 42? You and I have been talking now for years, certainly that the border's been overrun. There's a crisis there. In the past 6 months, it's sort of exploded. And when you and I were together in September, we were talking about how it's never been this bad. It's a crisis. If things truly break down, what does that look like next week?
Well, to be honest, it almost kind of feels like things are already broken down. Law enforcement, Border Patrol, when I'm speaking to them, their sources, morale is low. They feel like they're not even doing border enforcement. They're doing what they say is border enrollment. One agent even mentioned to me that he feels like he's just an Uber driver because he waits for the migrants, picks them up, and takes them to the processing center. The backlogs are backed up with judges and cases. So it already feels like this thing is a mess. And when I'm speaking to law enforcement, they say we just need Title 42 at least another 60 days to at least get a hold of this thing, or at least let us clear out a backlog before we just lift this Title 42 this coming Monday.
All right, Jorge. Jorge's done just incredible work with the Daily Caller, some incredible documentaries as well about the cartels. Great work. Keep it up, Jorge. We'll check in with you, all right?
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.